everybody, and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie, Esther here, and today I want to talk to you about Freddy Krueger, the Nightmare on Elm Street, and can we expect him to show up on the platforms where he is noticeably absent, or does Dead by Daylight have a contingency plan for this? Let's talk about it. So if you're unaware of the current standing of the Freddy Krueger license, I'll give you a quick layman's perspective of it. Basically, Wes Craven, may he rest in peace, who wrote the original screenplay for Nightmare on Elm Street and therefore created Freddy Krueger, his family, his estate, has used a copyright law to reclaim the rights to everything Freddy, and his family is now the sole owner in the United States of everything Freddy and Nightmare on Elm Street. However, since this copyright law only applies in the US of A, the New Line Cinema, who produced the film, owns everything Freddy outside the US and around the world. So now we're looking at this shared licensing where Wes Craven's family owns Freddy in the US and New Line Cinema owns Freddy outside of the US. We have Dead by Daylight here, that is a very much an international game, who's previously only dealt with New Line Cinema, and now they're faced with making a deal with Wes Craven's family and having these two parties agree to go forward with Freddy on Dead by Daylight. So this reclamation of Freddy's rights happened around September 2019, just around the time that Dead by Daylight was coming out on the Nintendo Switch, and Freddy's noticeably absent there. He isn't on the Windows Store. He isn't on mobile. We don't know if he's going to be on the Stadia or not. So everything new that Dead by Daylight has come out on doesn't have Freddy. We saw a similar situation with Leatherface. When the Nintendo Switch got Dead by Daylight, it didn't have Leatherface there either. I think it was 3 months later when Leatherface showed up on the Switch. Same thing with mobile. They just recently got Leatherface on mobile. So it looks like they're renegotiating contracts for some of these licensing deals, and they've done fairly well with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre license, agreeing to release Leatherface on more platforms. And they do the same thing with Freddy. So I'm going to give you the optimist point of view and then the pessimist point of view, and you can pick whichever one you prefer. We're going to start out with the optimism here. So you may remember last July they did wholesale changes on Freddy, completely reworked how his power worked, and they also released 4 new map variations for Badham Preschool. We went from 1 to 5 versions of Badham. And I guess this all hinges on just what they need to reopen contract negotiations and get permission to do to change Freddy. When they go in and make these changes to his power and introduce these 4 new maps, do they need licensor approval to do that? And if they do, I would submit to you that in the 4th anniversary live stream, they showed us that they're going to give us some graphical updates on maps to make them look creepier, scarier, just set the tone. Now, they told us that these map changes were going to come in gradually. We wouldn't get them all at once. It would be one map at a time. And you would assume that the map that they've showed us in these images would be the first one that we're given. So that would be Badham Preschool. Now, given that the timing of last July's rework of Freddy came along with the changes to these maps, and now we're getting changes to maps again, I would assume that there has to be some level of license or approval to make these changes to Freddy's power and introduce these new maps. You can't just go around making whatever maps you want for Freddy or change his power to, you know, spawn rainbows and unicorns to kill people. There has to be some level of license or approval, I would think. So now that they're making these changes to the existing Badham maps in this graphical update, if you believe that they needed to get license or approval to do that, what else have they gotten license or approval to do? Obviously, first thing on the list is you would want to get Freddy on all your platforms. You'd want to get him out on mobile and Switch and Windows Store, on Stadia, etc. We're going for this unification push where we're going to have crossplay on almost all of the platforms. So if you're going to have crossplay, you want to be able to have Freddy crossover into everyone's games, including Nintendo Switch, right? That makes sense to me. If they have renegotiated rights with both parties, including Wes Craven's estate, and everything is falling into line, and we have our dream scenarios here, what else could we get? Could we get the Robert Englund version of Freddy? Would Wes Craven's estate sign off on that, turning that into a legendary outfit that you could buy and apply to your Freddy, the Robert Englund Freddy that everybody really wanted in the first place? Now, many people say, why didn't we just get that Freddy when this started? Why did we get this Jackie Earle Haley version of Freddy? Well, at the time, New Line Cinema when Dead by Daylight approached them, New Line Cinema said, "This is the version of Freddy we're offering you. Take it or leave it." And Dead by Daylight said, "Well, I guess we'll take it." So that's why we have the Jackie Earle Haley 2010 version of Freddy. Everybody wants the Robert Englund version of Freddy. There's no doubt about it. So if they have dealt with the Wes Craven estate, I'm sure the Wes Craven estate would love to see Wes's version of Freddy in Dead by Daylight. Wouldn't you agree? And if that came in as a legendary skin and you could do variations on that, like Syringe Fingers Freddy, a couple of different legendary outfits that would help round out the cosmetic shop for Freddy, I think that would be a great idea. The flip side of that would be, could you also get legendary skins for the Survivor side? Could we have the ability to turn Quentin Smith into Nancy Thompson from the original Nightmare on Elm Street? Not Nancy Holbrook. Nobody wants her. She's like got the personality of Wet Paper Bag. Nancy Thompson everybody wants. So that would be another amazing legendary skin. You could buy that, convert Quentin into her, maintaining all of your progress that you have on Quentin, changing into Nancy Thompson. That would be another incredible dream scenario. Speaking of Quentin, we know that Kyle Gallner has been very vocal publicly about wanting his character Quentin Smith to look more like himself in the video game. And it isn't just up to Kyle. They need to get New Line, or now they would need to get New Line and Wes Craven's estate to agree to this, but it's something that many people want to have happen. So if this dream scenario continues, can we finally get that Quentin Smith face rework? Or at least as an option if some of you out there love the original Quentin and don't want to see him touched. Could we get it as a secondary head option on the Nightmare on Elm Street chapter? That would be pretty great. Maybe even some secondary outfits for Quentin to round out his cosmetics. That would be an awesome scenario too, right? Okay, now we're going to get into the clues, and I'm going to need my tinfoil hat for this because it involves the Dead by Daylight devs work from home Spotify list. And I know many of you are out there going like, come on, Paulie, not this work from home clues again. You did this with all the work from home photos and there was nothing there. Actually, there was something there. Well, I just didn't interpret the clues properly. I tell you, this photo right here is going to haunt me for a while, because right here, encapsulated in this photo, is Pyramid Head Anniversary. Right there in that one photo. And I missed it. And you can make a case for some of these others, like the cat in the locker alludes to the jump scare on Midwich Elementary, with the body jumping out of the locker. But anyway, this photo here with the pyramid on the head is like on the nose, and I missed it. So I do believe that there were clues in the work from home photos. So now we're going to look at this Spotify list and find those clues. And I want to thank Dead by Daylight community member Pound of Flesh for bringing this to my attention. It's the linchpin in the whole theory. Thank you very much for showing me this, Pound of Flesh. Now, it has been my belief that we would know something about the Freddy status in September, because that's when the Stadia is coming out, and that's when they have said that crossplay with the Stadia is going to happen. Cross progression, we know, is happening on the Stadia. So I think in September is when we will have this knowledge about the status of the Freddy license going forward. And I will show you here on the Spotify list, we have the Green Day song, Wake Me Up, when September ends. So by the end of September, we're all going to be waking up to Freddy, because he's going to be in the game on all the platforms putting us to sleep. No? You need more? All right, here we go. Look at this other song here. Johnny Cash, Where Are You At? Look at this. San Quentin. Live at San Quentin State Prison by Johnny Cash. Quentin, it's right there. Quentin. Now, there's no accounting for taste, but like, I know what's on this album, and this is arguably the fourth best song on this album. It isn't even the best prison song on the album. Like, Folsom Blues is way better than San Quentin, in my opinion. And we also have Boy Named Sue and Walk the Line. Why you would pick this song from that album, I don't know. Maybe you just really like the song. Like I said, there's no accounting for taste, but I will say it's got Quentin in the name. Quentin, When September Ends. We're gonna have the Quentin changes, I'm telling you. somebody bookmark this and come back and yell at me in September when none of this actually happens, please. Even the lyrics of the song about Quentin, it just says how bad Quentin is. I'm telling you. Okay, you don't like that bit of evidence. I got something a little bit stronger for you, and I don't need the tinfoil hat for this. So we're gonna put that aside. Now, if you don't know, on Discord, you can go on Better Discord and you can add a plugin. And what this plugin allows you to do is it allows you to see invisible channels on Discord servers. Now, you can't access those channels on the servers, but you can see that they exist and you can read the names. The channels that were previously hidden to you are now visible and you can see what the names of the channels are. So, what would you say if I told you that if you went over to the Dead by Daylight mobile Discord server and had this plugin on your Discord, you could see that Dead by Daylight mobile has channels that are not visible normally to anyone that are named Quentin Smith and the Nightmare. Now, why would they need those channels on their Discord server if they don't have the ability to get those characters on mobile? Is that an indicator that Freddy and Quentin Smith are coming to Dead by Daylight mobile, perhaps in September? You decide. Okay, now it's time for the pessimist point of view, and to take all that wind out of your sails for all this great speculation and evidence that I've given you, and just say that here's how you can avoid this Freddy situation if you don't have rights to Freddy. So, yes, while we do know that they want to do crossplay across all platforms and have everyone play with one another, and it would be ideal to have Freddy on Switch so that you could make that happen, I will point out that yesterday they put out a blog talking about the matchmaking changes and how they're going to work. And detailed in there, it says that it's going to require killers to select what killer they want to play before they click search for a match and then lock it in. And then I would submit to you that that would then give Dead by Daylight the ability to have anyone who has selected Freddy as their killer to exclude them from the crossplay and make sure that they never get matched up with Switch because they don't have Freddy on Switch. So that is how you would be able to still have crossplay and not have Freddy on every platform. Wah, 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 wah. So wherein lies the truth and what's going to happen? I think we're going to have a much better understanding of this in September because that's when the Stadia is coming out, and we know that they're going to allow you to have cross progression carrying your progress over from one platform to another between PC, the Switch, and Stadia then. So if you own Freddy on PC, we're going to wait and see what happens if he will become unlocked for you on Switch and Stadia when they give you that cross progression. So I think in September, there's a very good chance that we're going to see these Batum map changes and that we will know what the future of the Freddy license holds. So stay tuned. So that's all I have for you today. Let me know what you think about all of this speculation. How excited would you be to see a Robert Englund Freddy in the fog in Nancy Thompson? Let me know what's on your bucket list for the great dream scenarios regarding the Freddy license in Dead by Daylight. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Take care of each other in and out of the fog, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.